Hello, well I guess this is part 2 of the kitchen build. As you will see, my cooker and hob unit has now arrived. A submersible pump, a sink and a 3-burner hob. It is the Dometic HSG 3436, and I got my tap, which is a cold water micro switch tap, and that will fit here. But I wanted a folding one so that you can put it in, and when the lids are down it looks all neat and tidy. You get the sink wastewater bits. So this is going to get fitted into my worktop in the van, which is still propped up in the garage at the moment. This is the first fit of the sink and cooker unit into the van. Well, I say fit, first try out. And initially I was going to have a separate sink with a glass lid and a separate hob with a glass lid with a gap in between, but then realised that I wouldn't have room for the bottom of the sink against the top of the fridge and the drainage. So then I found this 2-in-1 unit with the sink at one end and the cooker at the other. And I wanted the cooker here because I'm going to have a max fan which will be up here. So I wanted to keep the cooking fumes near the fan and as much possible away from the bed. I'm very pleased with that, considering it wasn't my first choice and it was my plan B. I'm actually thinking I like it better than I would have done plan A. Funny how that happens. A few months ago I bought myself a piece of oak worktop in the IKEA sale, which was really good because I think I got about £40 off it. I was going to do some videos of me installing it, however I only managed to film the bit where I was cutting this piece, because what I did, I've taken a piece off the end that's about so big, which will be the dining table, and it was a little bit too wide, so what I've done is took, I think it's about 5 centimetres off the back with the circular saw, and then I flipped it onto its end, the little piece I've cut off, and I glued it onto the back of the worktop with some normal nails, and then I screwed it from underneath and made like a small little splashback, so that where it's against the window here, it's not going to allow anything to fall off the back of the worktop. I cut the sink unit out, which went really badly, but luckily I managed to save it in time. I thought I would be better to cut from the underside, so I flipped the worktop over and I started cutting. Little did I know that the jigsaw blade was kind of bending outwards as I was doing it, so it was cutting a bigger hole than the line I'd drawn to cut along. Luckily I noticed this in time and I flipped the worktop over, remarked it and started to cut along the right lines. Luckily I saved it in time, otherwise my nice big piece of oak worktop would have been buggered. So I got my worktop cut, I got this sunk in, I got it all fitted and screwed, and I'm very pleased with it. I'm waiting for some linseed oil now to come, because I did make a small watermark on it because the staining or the treatment that's on it when it comes from IKEA, or I guess it's the same with any oak worktop, isn't sufficient. So I've ordered some linseed oil because from what I read that is a good thing. Next on the list is building a little drawer to go in here to use this space above the fridge. I have got this ready-made wooden cutlery box which fits just nicely. So I'm going to get a couple of pieces of wood like this, which I will use to make into a slider, like so. And they will fit. So I'll fit that to this front beam, batten, whatever you want to call it. And there's another one at the back. And then the other one is going to have to be somehow suspended because I've got some electrical switches here which I need to leave a little bit of space behind for the wiring. Righty, so I've made these like runners. Can you see them there? So it can run along, one to go on each side. They reach all the way from the back beam to the front beam, and see, that will slide in nicely. What I need to do first is mark where this one is going to fit, giving me just a couple of millimeters to slide the fridge in and out. So if I put that mark there, and then I'll be able to measure this distance and do it the same at the back. This one I'm going to have to make a floating thing for, but the fridge is going to have to come out. But I'd rather take the fridge out than take the worktop off. And to be honest, I'd have to take the fridge out to get the worktop off anyway. So I'll get this taken out. That's gone pretty well. So I've got this one fixed to this beam here, then this one here is fixed to the top. This will have a little bit of a blanking plate. Oops. And it's quite tight when it gets to the back. No rude comments. So hopefully that means it won't come sliding out. No rude comments. Yeah. There you go. Well, as per usual, I got carried away with the building, and I've fitted these two drawer runners in, and now this fits in, which is great. The front wasn't quite flat, so I'm going to put pieces of the pine cladding on the front, so it's all the same, but because it wasn't quite flat, it wasn't going to work right. So what I've done, if I can get it out, is I've got a small piece of plywood and I've glued it onto the front, and then I've sanded it down to a bit of a wedge so that the cladding will gradually come further out. But that fits in there nicely. Not decided on handles yet. So as I was saying that I get carried away with the build, I moved on and built a door for my cupboard. So now I have a cupboard door. So that's pretty good as well. I keep looking at the wrong end of the camera. I've done a small little toggly thing to keep the cupboard closed, nice and simple. And I built a frame here first, which I hinged onto here. I made it smaller because I knew that it needed to slot in, but I wanted this because I knew that the cupboard would drop, because cupboard doors drop, especially when you make them yourself. So I wanted the cupboard door to rest on the bottom here. So then when it goes back in, it rests on the bottom, and I knew that if I clad it from that position, that the door wasn't going to drop when it was in position because it would be supported. So that is my door done. I just need to get this all cladded across the front there, so it all looks pretty. I'm quite excited about this. I've made myself a spice rack. I do need to make another one, but I didn't want to have any screws sticking through the front of it. It's going to go on the inside of my cupboard door. So I glued it and clamped it all together last night. Hopefully it's stuck. Yes, it's stuck to that. Oh, that's it. It's no biggie. So look, my little spice rack to go on the door. Let's go see how it looks. Here's my cupboard. Spice rack will go about here, where it can go above this shelf. A while ago I bought these little jars off eBay. Because they've got square bases, they use most of the space up. So I made it to fit just like that. Wonderful. Very pleased with that. I'll work out how I'm going to fix it to the door, and also I need to make another one. This one is fitted. It's got me jars in. I love it. I have my second spice rack all clamped up and drying just there, and I have also made like a little window box. It's only 30 centimetres long and about 8 centimetres deep, but that's going to be for me to put some little plants in the window. As a wee break, because it's freezing out there, I've decided to make some scones. That's better. That's this part of the kitchen build finished for today, because I'm aware it's started to go on a little bit. Got my drawer finished, apart from a handle. Got my kitchen cupboard door and spice racks finished. Done my little window boxy thing, which will be nice to have some little plants in. I'm aware I haven't talked about fitting this window surround. I've still got to do the one for the sliding door, so I will talk more about that when I do the sliding door one. I still have to plumb in the hob and sink. I will talk about that in another video as well. Hope you have enjoyed this video and that it may have been useful or given you some inspiration. If you could give me a like, that would be brilliant. It would really help my channel to grow if you could leave a comment in the box below. And please do subscribe, because that really does help. And better still, if you press the little bell so you get a notification when I upload a new video. Please do hit that subscribe button. That's somewhere here. Thank you.